Have you ever wondered how the magic of capturing a moment in a frozen frame began? Well, it all started in the early 19th century, in the year 1816 to be precise. A Frenchman named Joseph Nicéphore Niepce developed what is generally accepted as the first photographic camera. This wasn't a high-tech gadget as we know cameras today. In fact, it was rather primitive, more like a box with a hole in it. This rudimentary device was based on the concept of the camera obscura, an ancient method of projecting images used by artists and scientists alike. A small hole in one side of the box allowed light to enter, projecting an image of the outside world onto a surface inside the box. Joseph Nicéphore Niepce's invention marked the beginning of a new era, the dawn of photography. It was the first step in a journey that would transform the way we capture and share our world. So, from a box with a hole, we've come a long way in the world of photography. How did we move from simple light drawings to actual photographs? That's a fascinating question, and the answer lies in two major developments in photography history, the daguerreotype and the calotype. Let's start with the daguerreotype. Invented by Louis Daguerre in 1839, this was the first publicly available photographic process. Named after its inventor, the daguerreotype process was unique. It didn't just capture an image, it created a mirror image on a highly polished silver plate. The result? An incredibly detailed and sharp picture that was unlike anything seen before. This was a real game changer. It was as if Daguerre had found a way to freeze a moment in time. But the daguerreotype had its limitations. For one, it was a painstakingly slow process. It could take up to 15 minutes to expose an image, and the subjects had to stay perfectly still the entire time. And the images? They were one-offs. There was no way to make copies. This is where the calotype comes in. Introduced by William Henry Fox Talbot, the calotype process was the first to utilize negatives. This meant that photographers could now create multiple prints of the same image. Talbot's invention was revolutionary. It allowed for a more practical approach to photography, and it laid the groundwork for modern photography as we know it. The calotype, however, was not without its own set of challenges. The process was more complex than the daguerreotype, and the resulting images were less sharp. But these drawbacks didn't stop the evolution of photography. Instead, they spurred on further innovation. The transition from daguerreotype to calotype was a significant leap in the history of photography. It marked the shift from photography as a novelty to a practical tool. It was no longer just about capturing a moment in time, it was about being able to replicate and share that moment with others. Photography was no longer a novelty, but a medium with endless possibilities. When did cameras become something we could carry around? This is a question that takes us back to the late 19th century, and to a man named George Eastman. Eastman, an American entrepreneur and innovator, turned the photography world upside down with his invention of roll film in 1885. This was a massive leap from the bulky, heavy plates photographers had been using. The roll film was light, compact, and could be loaded into a camera in daylight. It was the first of its kind, and it revolutionized how we captured images, but Eastman didn't stop there. He had a vision of a camera in every home, and he knew that for that to happen, cameras themselves needed a transformation. So in 1888, Eastman introduced the Kodak camera, a small handheld device preloaded with enough film for 100 exposures. It was simple to use, and more importantly, it was portable. You could take it anywhere, from a family picnic to a mountaintop hike. The Kodak camera was a game changer. It was no longer just the professionals who could capture the world around them. Now, anyone could do it. Eastman's Kodak camera democratized photography, making it accessible to the average person. For the first time, people could document their own lives, their own perspectives, in a way that was previously unimaginable. And the impact of Eastman's inventions is still felt today. Roll film laid the groundwork for the film we use in cameras now. And the Kodak camera, it was the predecessor of the point-and-shoots, the Polaroids, the DSLRs, and even the camera phones we carry in our pockets today. So, when did cameras become something we could carry around? It was when George Eastman decided to put the power of photography in the hands of the people. Suddenly, capturing memories wasn't just for the professionals anymore. When did we step into the digital age of photography? That's a question that takes us back to the mid-70s. The year was 1975, and a young engineer named Stephen Sasson was working at Eastman Kodak. Sasson was handed an interesting challenge: to develop a camera using solid-state electronics, a technology that was just emerging. After months of tinkering and testing, Sasson unveiled the product of his labor. It was a device far from the sleek, pocket-sized cameras we're familiar with today. Weighing in at over 8 pounds, it was a hefty piece of technology, but it was revolutionary. It was the world's first digital camera. This camera didn't use film to capture images. Instead, it used an electronic sensor that took in light and converted it into electrical signals. The images it captured were stored on a digital cassette tape and could be viewed on a television screen. This was a dramatic departure from the norm, and it paved the way for the digital age of photography. In the years that followed, digital technology rapidly evolved. By the 90s, the digital single-lens reflex camera, or DSLR, had made its debut. These cameras combined the mechanics of traditional SLR cameras with a digital imaging sensor. This meant photographers could now see exactly what their lens was capturing without the need for film. The DSLR ushered in a new era of photography, offering greater control and flexibility to photographers. But the digital revolution didn't just change the way we capture images. It also changed how we share and store them. Gone were the days of film rolls and dark rooms. Now, images could be easily stored on memory cards, transferred to computers, and shared with the world at the click of a button. The digital revolution was a game changer. It democratized photography, making it accessible to anyone with a digital camera. It allowed us to capture and share moments like never before. And while we've come a long way from Sasson's 8-pound prototype, the spirit of his invention lives on in every digital image we capture. With the digital revolution, the world of photography was changed forever. So, when did our phones turn into our go-to cameras? Well, it all started in the early 2000s when the first camera phones hit the market. At first, these cameras were just a fun novelty, a way to snap a quick picture without lugging around a separate device. But over time, as technology improved, they became more than that. By the mid-2000s, smartphone cameras had begun to rival traditional point-and-shoots in terms of image quality. Manufacturers poured resources into developing better sensors, lenses, and software. And we, the users, reaped the benefits. We began to carry in our pockets not just communication devices but powerful photographic tools. But it wasn't just the hardware that was evolving. Simultaneously, the rise of the App Store ushered in an era of photo editing apps. These allowed us to do more than just take pictures. We could edit them, manipulate them, and share them, all from the same device we used to capture them in the first place. And then, Instagram happened. Launched in 2010, this photo-sharing app transformed smartphone photography. It turned every smartphone user into a potential photographer, offering them a platform to showcase their work. And it wasn't just for the pros. Anyone could post, anyone could follow, and anyone could like. It was a revolution. Fast forward to today, and smartphone photography has only continued to grow. Cameras are now one of the main selling points of any new phone, with manufacturers constantly trying to outdo each other. We're seeing multiple lenses, better low-light performance, and even professional-grade manual controls. And it's not just about taking photos anymore. Video capabilities on smartphones have skyrocketed, with many offering 4K resolution, slow motion, and time-lapse features. It's safe to say, smartphone cameras have come a long way since their humble beginnings. The smartphone has truly democratized photography. It's given us the ability to capture, edit, and share images in a way that was unimaginable just a few decades ago. It's put a powerful tool in the hands of millions, sparking creativity and fostering a new generation of photographers. Today, everyone with a smartphone is a potential photographer. So, what does this journey from a box with a hole to a camera in every pocket tell us? The evolution of the camera is a testament to human ingenuity, reflecting our relentless pursuit of capturing moments in time. It began with Joseph Nicéphore's rudimentary contraption in 1816, which evolved into more sophisticated devices like the daguerreotype and calotype. The birth of portable cameras brought photography to the masses, allowing anyone to freeze their favorite moments. The digital revolution then took photography into a new era, eliminating the need for film and making it even more accessible. Today, the smartphone era has democratized photography like never before. With a high-definition camera in every pocket, we're all photographers, capturing our lives one snapshot at a time. This evolution has made photography an integral part of our everyday lives, documenting our personal stories and the world around us. From capturing light drawings to snapping high-definition images on our phones, the camera has truly come a long way. And who knows what the future holds?